Hey, Podnutzians, welcome to Android App Addicts. Sorry, forgot to mute my own thing. Oh, okay, let's try it again. Hey, Podnutzians, welcome to Android.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you ever saw that.
Oh, Jesus. That was a bit concerning. Oh, we're back up on YouTube.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I blame the kids and tablets. And I'll say, here's the only good news about kids and school and drugs and everything is thankfully most kids these days are not active on any social media because they find that's for boomers kind of thing. They are on YouTube though, which I'm pretty sure YouTube is just going to try to become more and more of a social platform as time moves on.
I just said, okay, boomer, and my Google Home went off. Google Assistant was asking.
You could take that a lot of different ways, is what I'll say. Yeah, and I will say I think we're gonna end up getting my youngest kid. He's 11. I think we're gonna end up probably getting him a phone sometime next year. Is what I'm gonna say. I asked him to pick 2 or 3 classes and just ask everyone you talk to if they have a phone. Over 70% of the kids he asked already have a mobile phone at the age of 11. I want to say the last study I heard said by the age 11, almost 80% of kids in the US have phones, which I find to be a little bit insane.
How does he get to school? Does he catch a bus?
Yeah, the bus is literally like a 4-minute walk from the front door of the house. He's the last to leave. We try to stay here until he leaves. Sometimes we do make it, sometimes we don't. But he's also the home after his older brother, so he's always here waiting for him, which is good.
Yeah. Because my youngest daughter, she's 9, and we had to give her a cell phone because she started taking a bus. We changed her school, and she had to take the same bus as her brother. And we were just uncomfortable. Sometimes, her brother had a phone, but it was, not always reliable. He doesn't always have it turned on. He doesn't always have battery. So, I set her up with a new phone, which is a cheap, crappy ZTE. And I set Family Link on it, and that allows me to check her location at any time, or the location of the phone at any time. And the Google Family Link is actually really good. I was quite impressed with it.
Yeah, first thing I did when I got my oldest son was just to go into Google Maps and just said location sharing and just put my email address in. Just because it's one of those things. And to be honest, I did the same thing back to him. I went onto my phone and I shared my location back with him, and I told him anytime you want to know where I'm at, you can find out.
Yep, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay. Ivor was thinking, because we go long more than a couple of times, that we start to do apps first thing in the beginning of the episode. So what I will say is the first app I'm going to bring tonight is the kind of app I have to bring. And by that, I mean, like Eric would always bring trivia to kind of apps. Well, this is like one of the apps that I always kind of bring. It's Google Stadia, the official app launched this week. I do believe they said that invites already went out. Hardware has already began to ship November 16th, which is less than 48 hours from the time we hit record, is the day that people are going to be able to log in to Google Stadia and start to play games. I'll just say this. I went through the whole roller coaster on Google Stadia. Is it going to be successful or not? I think there's so much money in gaming. It's going to be really difficult for them to not at least have some success. But if history is also any example, when Google decides to charge money for something, they almost never cancel it. They might morph it into something else, but they almost never cancel it. So I think this is going to end up making Google more in traction and eyeballs than money, but I'm sure it's going to make a pretty penny too.
When is it supposed to launch?
November 16th is the first day that the Stadia Founders Edition are going to be able to start playing. I believe the normal people are going to have to wait 3 months after that. So I want to say it's around early February.
So have you got it in Canada, Josh?
I have access to the app. As far as Stadia, I don't know.
Yeah, so the only option for me is to add it to my wish list. I don't seem to be able to install it.
Gotcha. Well, and I'll say, if you guys are looking at the screenshots, they do have on their list, like, what are some of the launch games going to be. And I will encourage people, do not make fun of one of the games on the list. It's literally Just Dance 2020. Just Dance is just about the most successful game franchise in the history of games. Kind of like Fast and Furious is actually dollar-wise the most successful series of movies ever made. Doesn't mean they're good, just means they're successful.
I never tried it, actually. Sure,
You
Josh
know,
does it every day.
I say I could see Door busting a move.
no.
You've got your own Just Dance machine in the lounge, haven't you, Josh?
So, Door, what exactly does this app do?
Well, originally, the idea behind Google Stadia, it's on live, it's the NVIDIA cloud, it's X cloud, it's what everyone now is starting to do, which is server-based games. AKA, you remember, kids, gather around, kids. Do you remember back in like 1979, you would log in through a phone modem onto a bulletin board system and you would play a game on somebody else's computer? Yeah, it was almost all text, but you could play a game on somebody else's computer. Well, those days are back again. With Google Stadia, you can connect your Google Stadia official Chromecast up to your large screen TV with their controller, play games, AAA games on their servers, is where all the work's happening, but on your screen is where it's being displayed, and your controller is the input for it. The goal is to have it ubiquitous gaming via a network, whether it be on a tablet, a phone, a computer, a Chromebook, or a television, for all AAA kind of games. Red, I can't remember what it's called. Red Redemption.
Red Dead Redemption, I think.
Yeah.
And basically all of the games people are freaking out over, is what I'm going to say, it are going to be available on Stadia because Google has money and people like money. So it's going to try to be a competitor. Xbox xCloud just launched beta last week. Sony is not really making noise about what they're doing so far. NVIDIA platform is and has been officially available now for months, where you could play on your Shield tablet games that are running in the cloud.
But
That's
if
really
this,
what it is.
yeah, but this app, if it's not even available for 3 months, this app just sits on your phone and you can't do anything with it until then?
Well, in normal Google fashion, you can download the app all day long. Doesn't mean you can play the games. Because if you take a look at the download numbers, I want to say it was already 100,000 plus installs. There's not 100,000 plus people who got the founders pack for Google Stadia. So people are installing it, I'll say, anticipating that they'll be able to play games sooner than later. But also, I do believe with this app, you are going to be able to find other people who are playing games and streaming, in air quotes, the games to other people, and you'll be able to view those games as well. You'll also be able to do that on normal YouTube, but I'm pretty sure they're going to try to make this a community hub on top of just being able to launch games on it.
I also imagine they'd want a staged rollout, given the hype that they've had around it. Because a lot of people are just going to try it and then probably never play it again. So they want to kind of restrict the numbers of users that are loading up the servers so they get the best experience. And then gradually as the capability increases, they'll be expanding it out to more users.
I'm sure. Yes. Yeah. They learned a lot helping the 3 games. The one was called like Field Guide. Then they did the Ingress and Harry Potter and Pokemon Quest, Pokemon Go. With all of that, Google learned a lot about infrastructure, balancing, fault tolerance kind of thing. And I'm sure everything that they learned is going to go into try to make this a better platform overall. With that said, yes, the first 3 months, they're going to learn an immense amount about what not to do and what to do. I expect by Christmas 2020, this to be pretty solid, pretty tight, but by Christmas 21, I expect this to be the premier experience. And then I expect, because here's the whole thing: PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox 360, Xbox S, Nintendo, Nintendo Wii U, Switch. Game developers keep having to change their game and code for a different platform. Not with Google Stadia. You basically code once and then Google can promote the code up through life cycles. So the game could be available for always and forever kind of thing. Also, that means you'll be consistently programming against the same platform for years and years and years and years, which means when other consoles die and get deprecated and new consoles come out, they have to catch all back up again, where Google Stadia shouldn't have to do that. So with every year, it should become a better and better gaming experience for the end user. I will say I am terrified about losing games to history, because if I can't download and hold the bits myself, I'm afraid that we're going to literally have games that we are going to have available to us, then they're going to be taken away, and then no one's going to be able to document them or show them off ever again. Kind of like Ivor, imagine if Elvis was only ever streaming and nobody could have any of his albums or hit record. It would just be word of mouth. It would be like mythology.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Although Elvis already is a legend in his own right.
I know. So, I was waiting for that.
Hey. Oh, that should be really interesting to see what Google does with Stadia in the next couple of months, particularly because the tech press has been savage about it so far.
Yeah.
Hopefully they do better with Stadia than New Zealand did in the Rugby World Cup.
Oh. You had to mention that, didn't you? You want to give me a paper cut now and pour lemon juice all over it? I'm resigning. I can't work with this guy anymore.
I kind of figured that was going to sting a bit.
Do you have any apps, Ivor?
I don't know. Do you have any talent?
About as much as the All Blacks.
Whoa! Yes, I have an app. Here it is. This is called the Your Calendar widget. This is quite a useful app for me because I have lots of things in my calendar that I need to remember, and appointments that I need to go to sometimes. So what this Your Calendar widget does is it gives you a agenda view of your calendar inside your notification shade. So if you install this app, and then you can customize how it looks, and then later on you'll have, when you pull down your notification shade, you will see a mini agenda for what you have that day or for the next 4 or 5 days. There's lots of customization options, lots of options to integrate with material design, and change the colors and change the look and feel. It's also got a plain old calendar widget, which I think is a lot better than the Google Calendar widget. And you've got customized options on that as well. You can also, from the notification shade drop down, you can add new appointments, I think. And you have lots of options for mucking about with your calendar on the widget.
Do you know what the in-app purchases are?
Yeah, you can get different templates. It gives you 4 free templates, but if you want to get any more or customize your own, I think you have to pay a small amount of money.
Well, this says $1.29 to $129.99.
Yeah, I think that might be. I'm not sure why it's $129. I would never spend that much, and I never will.
Yeah,
Overall,
that's great.
very useful.
What calendar do you guys just use? The default Google Calendar?
Yeah, I do. My phone came with a Huawei calendar, which is absolutely useless. So the Google Calendar is much better for me. Mainly because it has the family. I get the option of having a family calendar as well to share with the rest of the family. So that's very useful too.
Yeah, I use on most devices I use the default Google Calendar, but I also use Business Calendar, which is one of those apps that's literally been around for like 6 years at least. It did cost money, and then like 3 years after that, they decided to just go all completely free, no ads, no in-app purchases.
Well, this particular app is just a widget. It's not the calendar. It just hooks onto your whatever calendar app you're using, whether Google or whatever, and you just allow your permissions to the calendar, and it will display whatever your appointments are for that day. I particularly like it because it's in the notification shade. I don't have to go into the widget into any particular app to find out what I've got on that day.
I've used a Calendar Plus for many years now, but I don't know. I think I might try something different. It doesn't seem to be syncing as well as I'd like with the Google calendars.
Gotcha. I'll just say I really don't use a calendar. That's one of the things. If I ever have my life so organized, I have to use a calendar, I'm pretty sure I'm like well on my way to having a stroke. So
Yeah. I have no memory though, so I have to have things in a calendar. Otherwise, I will forget them.
I'm pretty sure I got you beat. Over 1,000 concussions in my life I've had. I'm pretty sure when it comes to memory, yeah, I don't remember more. I think, but I can't remember.
For me, a calendar is absolutely necessary. Otherwise, I'd forget to pick the kids up from school every day.
Thankfully, I don't have to do that.
I will bring an app if you guys are so inclined. This one is called Video Compressor, Fast Compress Video and Photo. I had brought I think it was called Panda Compress or something like that, for compressing videos on your phone, in order to be able to basically send them via SMS or however you want to send them. But the more I used it, or maybe it was after I got my new phone, it just sort of crapped out and it just wouldn't work properly. And so I ended up paying with Google Rewards, I think about $4 for this. And it has worked really well and very easy to use to compress large videos into manageable size clips.
Yeah, I think you bought something similar a little while ago, didn't you?
Yeah, that was the one. That was Panda Compressor, something
That's
like
right,
that.
yeah.
And I don't know. It didn't work as well as I'd hoped.
Yeah, because you emailing videos quite often with the kids you're looking after and stuff.
Yes, there's my parents live down in the States, and so I send SMS videos quite a bit. And so having the ability to compress them and easily send them is quite nice.
Mm.
So I would recommend this over the Panda one. And like I said, I had some Google rewards, so tossed it down, and I really like this one. And as far as Google rewards go, it took me a while to realize that I wasn't getting them anymore, any surveys. And you have to reset it up when you get a new phone. Set it up.
Yeah. But the thing is also Huawei will shut it down in the background unless you change the power settings. So yeah, if it's any apps are running in the background, it will shut them down after about 10 minutes.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well. Like that happens all the time with Foxer. So if I don't send you a message back, it's because I didn't get it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, Ivor.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I will say, to me, that's a sign of a good phone, and I really don't mean it like that. But the more abrasive a phone is about letting apps do whatever the hell they want to do, the better I like the phone. The first phone I witnessed that did that was the Asus Zenfone 2 or 3. I can't remember which one it was, where it literally would monitor what apps were doing, and when you turn your screen off, it would do a hard force kill for a lot of different applications. And then I realized that there was a class of phone where it expected me as a user to not be a user, but to be an administrator. And to be honest, I'm now grown to really appreciate and like that feature in my Huawei phones.
Didn't look like this, did it, Door?
I don't.
The camera on the back?
Not like that. No,
Okay.
not with the big circle.
It's the Asus Zenfone 2.
Gotcha. Then it might have been a 3.
Quite a good phone. Great phone.
I'm gonna tell you now, Asus. The only thing I didn't like about Asus was I had 3 of their phones. One of them I dropped it like only like a foot or two, and it never would work right again. It would boot, it would run, but it just wouldn't run right. It acted completely flaky. They also had an Intel based phone that I was shockingly surprised at the battery life and the useful functionality on it.
Yeah, the same with this one. It's an Intel Atom processor, and still it's quite fast, and the battery life is quite good. So
yeah, and to be honest, even if you don't use it as a phone, it works as a very capable handheld tablet. Is the way that I describe it. You know.
Yep. For me, it was the camera. Camera is really good.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very cool. I'm gonna do one more app really quick here. This one is an app that it is extremely niche, wherever you want to put it. NICHE, whatever. Okay, that's what it is. If you are especially a police officer kind of person, or you work at a place that has to do tint, or you have to worry about the tint density, how dark your tint is on a vehicle because of your county, state, country codes kind of thing, this app can honestly help you check your car window tint number. It's called tinting, VLT by Next Apps Gen. Audio and vehicle E for everyone does contain ads, completely free to download. No reviews right now. Updated October 27, 2019, 3.8 megs in size, only 100 plus installs. Current version 1.0, 4.2 Android up, content rating E for everyone. This to me, I'll say this, is the perfect kind of app to put on a phone that is not a phone anymore, but you're literally have it sitting around as a handheld computing appliance is the way that I put it. I literally showed this to Maryland State police officers. That's their job. They have to have cars come in and they have to show a work order. They have to then test the tint on the windows. And if it does not meet snuff, they have to, right in front of the police officer, tear the tint off of their vehicle. So I showed this to them and I asked them, look, do me a favor, run this against a window that you know is going to fail and run your own hardware and tell me what the numbers are. And they said every time that they ran this app, it ran exactly the same numbers as their dedicated hardware did. And I know for a fact that their dedicated hardware cost thousands of dollars is what I'm going to say. So they were genuinely impressed, but they said, they're going to keep it in their back pocket, but technically they still have to do their own hardware check on it. So,
Sounds like maybe you could
got
have a side hustle. Could be a window tint inspector.
Yeah, but most of the people who need the window tint inspecting hate you because they want to have their tint like, blackout kind of tint.
It's one of the most strangest apps I've seen in a while.
Well, I can't
think
always
you
bring Fortnite or something.
Where did you
Sorry, you've gone from Stadia to window tint. That's a bit of a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you find
Very.
How did you find that door?
I used this new website called the Google, and I just typed in it something like best Android apps week. Then I went into the time and I said, limit my search results to the last week. And then I did a couple minuses to the search result because, crap is out there. And the logic is it is the pendulum. You know what I mean? Like, here's like the truth. In the United States of America, we had Barack Obama get elected, which was a pretty hard pendulum swing compared to previous presidents. I'm just saying. And then we as a people had to swing that pendulum back just as hard in the opposite direction. Okay. I went Google Stadia, which is the extremely popular thing that is going to be installed on millions of devices in a matter of months. So then I got to swing the pendulum back equally to the other side and go extreme niche. That's the logic.
Gone full Trump. Door's gone full Trump.
I never said the word huge or I'm the best. Let's just get that right.
I thought you were going to say that you went to the Google machine and then you typed in Android app for window tint.
Yeah. Not quite that easy now.
Who's next? Is it me?
Sure.
Okay. So this one is a game. It's called Cartoon Craft. I quite like the resource management games or strategy games where you have to build up a base, build up some troops, and then send them out to destroy something and come back again, and that sort of thing. And this one here, Cartoon Craft, is quite a good take on that. It's a very simple game with quite low-level graphics, but it's actually very cheeky and it's got a really good sense of humor behind it as well. Basically, it's humans and orcs fighting against each other, and then an enemy comes along, a magician comes along who creates zombies out of humans and zombies out of orcs as well. So the zombies, so the orcs and the humans have to band together to fight the zombies, and you end up with lots of mayhem and slaughter and all that sort of stuff. Very entertaining game for an afternoon that you have free sometime.
You had me at zombies. Yeah, I will say, I convinced my oldest son, he's 14 years old. I convinced him that he needed to sit down with me and watch the original Night of the Living Dead, to have a proper, this is where zombies, modern day interpretation of zombies came from. Sit down.
Mm-hmm.
Shh, stop asking questions. Shh, just watch the TV. So yeah, this is, I don't want to say, this is not a tower defense. This is a resource management game, but it's like a war simulator, like a real, like a almost command and conquer type game where you literally have to like build up bases build
Yeah.
up armies and then send them out to wage war.
Yeah, and you have an option of either playing as a zombie. Oh, sorry, as a orc or a zombie or a human. Sorry, orc or human. That's it.
Did you purchase it?
I really can't remember.
Actually, it looks like you can only purchase it. It doesn't look like there's a free download.
Okay. Yeah.
So
it
I'll
always,
just make.
sorry, it doesn't have the price. Whenever I go onto the website, it doesn't tell me how much I paid for it. So sorry about that.
Yeah, I've got 99 cents here, but I was just wondering, just making sure that it's not one of those games where you have to collect jewels and then wait 6 hours before you can upgrade. And
No, nothing like that.
the ones that
yeah,
Mark
it's just-
really likes.
Yeah. Hack and slash all the way, which is what I like.
Very cool.
Okay, your turn.
I was going to. Chuck Green sent in an email with the subject "alarm clock?" ? And he's just wondering about Door was turning an old phone into an alarm clock for his wife, I believe, and so he's wondering if he made any progress or if it's just not a viable solution. Peace, the Rhino.
Well, I'll say, I, as a American male, understand I'm never actually going to make my wife happy. I can just try to make her happier, kind of thing. So I'm taking this extremely slow. Extremely slow. This is the app that I am going to use just as like the heads up display part of the clock. And it's literally just called Night Clock. This was an app literally brought easily 300 episodes ago on this show. Night Clock by Ned Fox. Tools, E for everyone, completely free, no in-app ads and no in-app purchases. 8,802 reviews, 4.3 average reviews. Updated February 5th, 2014. Like I said, years and years ago. Sometimes apps don't need to be updated. 324K in size. So feel free to go ahead and pull out that phone that has 8 gigs of internal storage and that's it. With like 512 mega RAM. 1 million plus installs, current version 2.52, required Android 2.01 and up. Content rating E for everyone, permissions, phone, device ID, other, because it basically like full screens on the phone. Basically what this does, this is the app that I was able to find that will literally turn your screen brightness down below normal settings. Okay. Most phones, if you take your brightness and slide it all the way down to the left kind of thing, you'll actually never go below what I believe is 30%. Might actually be 15%, but you cannot take it lower than that. Because the logic is if you could take it down to 0, well, then you take it down to 0, and then you'll never be able to look at your phone again because you won't know how to turn the brightness back up. So there's limits on how far you as a user can turn the brightness. With this phone, this app, when you have it full screened and you put it up, and you like turn your phone sideways landscape mode, the brightness will literally go down to like 5%. So in the middle of the night, if it's completely dark in your room, this phone will not wake anybody up because it's too bright. Even the lightest of the lightest sleeper, I guarantee you, this will be a very friendly interface for them to look at. Very simple. All it is your old school like clock, like from Groundhog Day that he punched and destroyed. It just shows the black background, red text with the time and the date, and that's it. The logic is I'm pretty sure if I put a Google alarm on it with a Google account connected to it, I can then control the Google alarm on any device and it should synchronize through the rest of the devices. The question is, will she be okay with that? And that's what I gotta sit down and you talk very nicely and see if she's okay with that part. But the night clock part, this I'll tell you right now is a really, really good solution.
You should set the alarm tone to "I got you, babe," and then you could have the full Groundhog Day.
Maybe not. I'm pretty sure she would stab me in the face. Now I will say this also. This is the completely free version I linked to in the store. There is a version that costs 99 cents. Here's the caveat to it. The paid version, if you have on-screen navigation, which almost every phone does now, where on the bottom of your screen you have the home row of home, back, and recent app. If you pay the 99-cent version, it will basically be full screen on top of them. Like when you full screen YouTube in landscape, you don't see those buttons anymore. Same kind of thing can happen. If you go with the free version, you'll always see a dim home, back, and recent button on the screen. So that's really the only difference between the free and the paid version.
One other thing you could try is if you have an AMOLED screen on your phone, they have an always on display option. So, and that's quite a dim time indicator. So
Yeah,
you could have that next to you.
I have two phones that have that, and they're easily 5 times brighter than this app.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, partially because all of those OLED, OLED, always on screens, they're always like a white or an off white.
Mm.
And this is, at least is like red. It's like not, contrasty.
Speaking of Red, Red's in the chat room. He's saying that the alarm clock plus that Mark and I use hadn't been updated for 5 years until Pi came out.
Very cool. Okay, so do you have any more apps, Josh, or you want me to pull out another one?
No. I got your back. I got you, babe. This one is called Text Scanner OCR by Peace. And it's for productivity. 68,775 reviews, 4.7 average, 1 million plus installs, $1.69 to $20.99 per item. And it needs access to photos and media and storage and camera. And it is basically what it says at the top. It's an OCR reader. So basically going from handwritten text to text. So basically what I was trying to do is recently, or what got me on this path recently, I got a Rocket book, which for anybody that doesn't know it looks like almost like a standard spiral ring notebook, but inside you use an erasable pen, and so the pages are like a composite plastic.
Oh, those are cool. Yeah, you can just wipe it off with a rag.
With the rag, and then also there's an app to where you can set up 7 different locations, and then at the bottom of each page there's like diamond and a heart and spade, and there's 7 different little characters, and if you put an X through the character and then you just use the app to scan the page, it'll upload that to wherever you have set up that little icon to go to. So it can be Google Drive, Dropbox. You could have it emailed to someone, and so it automatically will upload it to there. And so what I wanted to do was find a way to take that and be able to have it upload the handwritten notes, but then to translate them, or to use OCR, so that when it went into Dropbox or into Google Drive, then it would just be like a text-based PDF document.
So it will recognize your handwriting.
So yes, that's what I was trying to do. I never found a way to make that happen, but that's what got me on the OCR apps, and
Okay.
this one seems to work pretty well.
Then there are lots of different scanning apps and OCR apps on the Play Store. Is there anything about this particular app that kind of sets it apart for you?
No, not really. Besides the fact I installed it, but it has for the limited time that I've used it, it has worked really well, and it has multiple languages
Yep.
as well. So
Just that some of these apps can be a bit dodgy sometimes.
I'm only
So-
using it for really important information like bank passwords and things like that. So it should be fun.
This one has a review of 4.7, which seems pretty good, even though reviews are somewhat unreliable as well. But I think most crap apps would have a much lower rating, so it seems that this one's okay.
Yeah, it's a good way to. I mean, you can even scan like books and things like that, and upload them. So
cool.
Well, dumb question. Do you know if this thing has to connect to the internet in order to do its deed?
I'm not sure. I haven't taken it offline, but it does ask. I believe this was the one. It does ask which languages you want, and then I think it downloads language packages.
Well, that's fine. I would just wonder that if you have no network connection, or you have it literally as like a standalone device, will it still work? Because I know some of them like to upload their work to the cloud for processing.
Come on, Dory. You think I would actually do homework on this thing?
Well, I mean, it doesn't say you have to have internet access. That's why I'm hoping that you don't, because that would be really nice.
Well, I'm gonna flip my phone into airplane mode and then try it out.
Okay, well, you don't have to do it live on the show, because live demos always, end up catching things on fire.
It never worked.
Nope. It gives me an error. Can't access the network.
Okay.
You know what? I'm revoking it. I'm not bringing this app anymore.
Okay. I'm going to bring an app that does come with a caveat and a warning. Really, it's nothing more than an opportunity. I put it to educate people on, how to make like correct choices is what I'm going to say. Never believe anything blanketly. If anything gives you a tagline, take it with a grain of salt, because you got to remember, with every tagline, even if in a court of law that tagline can be 100% accurate, there's things that they're not telling you. Okay. There's an application out there called BLOKADA. I don't even know how to pronounce it. BLOKADA. BLOKADA. Okay. And it says the tagline, the best ad blocker for Android, free and open source. Okay. I will say what they say right there is technically absolutely 100% correct. It is an ad blocker for the entire operating system on Android, not just in a web browser or not just in like one application. And it is completely free, and it is open source code. Okay. What they're not telling you is all of the code is code that you can run yourself on your own home system. Okay. But what they actually do is you download this application, you install this application, and what it does, it creates a VPN between your device and their servers, which means they have access to everything you send over that VPN, whether it be, like you were saying, bank passwords, email passwords, social security numbers, pictures of clothed or not clothed people, or anything else goes through their network. And which means when they say that it's free and open source, you have to remember How do you think they're affording this domain? How do you think they're able to afford those servers? How do you think they're able to afford anything? Because every customer that signs up and pipes their data through them, they are somehow making money off of. Okay. They're hopefully anonymizing your data and then selling statistics of it to other people. But there's a chance that they're literally just selling everything to other people. So when something says it's a free ad blocker and it's open source, you got to think between the lines. What are they not telling me? And number one rule in 2019, November 2019, is data is the new oil. And it really is. Like for instance, California just got in trouble like a week ago because they turned out that they were giving facial recognition information to other companies without letting the people who those pictures were of to know what was going on. So it wasn't that they were sharing everything to other companies, but it was the fact that they didn't notify the citizens of California what they were doing. Because just sharing that information is worth a lot of money to somebody, is what I'm going to say. So if you feel comfortable sharing your information with a company where I'll say this, I could not find how they're making money. I could not find what they were doing with your data. You can go on F-Droid or you can go on Google Play and you can download BLOKADA, BLOKADA. But I will tell you right now, just like I've said now on another show on this network for a long time, if you do not have root, you do not know who does. If you do not have administrator privileges to BLOKADA back end, you really do have no idea what's going on with any of your data. Period. I'm sure they have somewhere buried some kind of like press statement of what is going on, but that's just a press statement. That's not a fact. I have no
Well,
problem saying
interesting
that.
to read the EULA on this one once you do install it.
Good luck is what I'll say. Good luck. Because I will say there was a thing given to the Supreme Court. It wasn't an actual court case here in the U.S., but they were just being made aware. And it was something like 99.59s of anybody who's ever signed off on a EULA has not read more than 3 words of any EULA. And that's because EULAs are designed in such a way that no one can actually make any sense of them.
Yeah, they're designed for lawyers. I just noticed on the page that you sent through the link down the bottom, it doesn't have a Google Play Store option. It has BLOKADA Slim on Google Play Store, and if you go to that link, it's a DNS changer. So it just changes the DNS that you're going through. Yeah, because I used to have an app called Stop Ad, which was a subscription model, and you paid like $5 a month or something for that, and that worked really well. But because the whole Google model is ads, serving ads to its customers on their phones, they had to stop their Android application. Now it's only available on PC. So yeah, at least you've got an option here for something that will block ads.
They also have donation options as well, and they have it set up to where you can donate every month or 6 months or 12 months.
Yeah, it says that the full-featured version, due to Google's business model, isn't allowed on Google Play. Hence, the version available on Play Store only allows changing the DNS service. And then if you want to install the full app, you have to go to F-Droid or XDA developers and sideload it.
Yeah, one of my logics with ads are, if you come across that many ads on a web page or an application, maybe you should get a different application, or maybe you should go to a different website. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah. Well, I have an ad blocker on my browser for my Chromebook, and that works really well. I don't get any YouTube ads at all. But if I check out a YouTube video on my phone, God, I get so many ads on a YouTube. I just don't use it. So, there's got to be some sort of balance somewhere that allows people to actually monetize their videos as well as not annoy the user.
You pay $2 and I think it is 33 cents per user and get a YouTube Red family account with 5 people, and then there's no ads at all anywhere on YouTube.
Yeah, I might have to
anywhere
do that.
you are.
But I don't really use my phone very much for video.
I'll just be honest. When I'm at somebody else's device, laptop, desktop, phone, or whatever, and they want to show me a YouTube video, I literally can't stomach the ads. I literally cannot understand how the hell I want to shake them. I literally want to shake them. How are you okay with watching these ads? What's wrong with you? You're what's wrong with America kind of thing. I want to shake it. So, and the thing is, I really don't watch a lot of YouTube, but those ads are just, to me, some of the worst things that have ever been created.
Well, I've been working on my network the last couple of days, and so I had my Pi hole was disconnected for a while, and I completely noticed a difference, and it was almost unusable. Like the internet's almost unusable without it, and especially on the phone, like trying to go to a website and there's ads that take up half the screen, and now they have the ads that go on top of whatever text you're trying to read, and when you're scrolling it stays there and you can only see half of the text. So it's another endorsement for the Pi hole for me. Yeah,
I mean, every article I go to on my phone, I just share it to my article reader, strips out all the ads, and you just get the plain text. And then I can't read articles any other way. Otherwise they're just covered in ads.
You need to set yourself up a Pi hole.
No, I've got my Firewaller already, so I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, I mean, is it complicated?
Nope, it's not complicated at all.
Because I'm pretty stupid. It's pretty hard to set things up sometimes.
If it was complicated, I wouldn't have offered it to you. Now, if you want, I can help you. I can help you set one up. All you need, mine's on using a Raspberry Pi 2 even, so you don't need the latest Raspberry Pi hardware even.
Yeah. So you have to get a Raspberry Pi, obviously.
No.
No?
No. With DiPi, you can load it as a native operating system on a desktop, a laptop. You can download a hypervisor VM, a virtual box VM, or and just load it on any computer of any
virtual
kind.
Machine going with it running all the time. Yeah.
Right. Or you can buy a single board computer, Raspberry Pi, Droid, Nano Pi, whatever, or Pine, and put it on that. The good thing is, even if you do put it on an x86 computer, like an old laptop, you will never tax that device to any measure, kind of thing. It is so light.
No, that's good. All right, I might have another look into that.
And then you just point your DNS from your router or your modem or your router to it.
Yep.
And then
I'm already using Cloudflare's 1.1.1.1 DNS service. But yeah, you still get ads with that, obviously.
Yeah, well, what you can do with the Pi hole is you can set the Pi hole for what DNS you want to use, but then you point your network to the Pi hole. So then it's using Quad 9s or Cloudflare or whatever.
Oh,
but
so is
it's stripping all the no, it's just stripping the ads that you're getting. Like it's pulling out the ads before they even get to your to your device. So
okay, that sounds really cool. Actually, I'll give that a go.
Do you have any more apps?
I do. This is mobile observatory app. Now I know that the the Play Store is rather chock-a-block with these kinds of applications. This is called MO Pro, or Mobile Observatory Pro. And probably to get a good idea of what this app does, I'll have to share my screen with you. So you get a good idea about what it does. Hang on, I just have to. Okay, cool. Hang on a minute. I'll just share my screen. Okay. So can you see it?
Yep.
Cool. So this is Mobile Observatory Pro, and it has heaps of options. So we get a sky view at the top here, which is the current view of the sky. And you can see you can move around. You can see that's obviously north, what direction you're facing, northeast, etc., etc. So you can move around and have a look. There's the sun, and Mars directly below it. So you can just have a little play around with it and check out the planets that are in the sky at the moment. Then you can go into a planisphere, which shows, you can move that around a little bit as well. It shows what, I'm not sure what that shows, but it shows the stars at night. Obviously, at night you would have a lot of stars in this view, and you could see what they are. It also has time shifts, so if you go back a minute, you go back an hour or a day, or if you go forward, and shows you the expected position of the stars at that particular time. Then I can go into an augmented sky view. Yeah, you have to allow permissions. Yeah, that's where you poke your camera at the sky, and it shows you what things are there. You can use cardboard with it. There's the solar system in 3D. So you can check out all the things that are happening in the solar system. Let's go back to events. It's got events. From the International Space Station, gives you all the information on what's happening in the galaxy at the moment. Tonight's best. So it's got Venus and Jupiter, all the planets that are going to be visible tonight, and the best visibility times for them. Gives you events, gives you the solar system ones only.
Does it use your location to find out this information?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
And then, as far as the sky view, can you choose which observatory are there multiple observatories, or is it just that one?
I haven't got that far in it. I need to have more of a play with it, but it doesn't at the moment seem to have an option to change the observatories. I think it's more based on your own location and what stars you'll be able to see within that view. But yeah, it might have a live feed to some of the observatories. I'm not sure. Constellations, Milky Way landscape, atmosphere markings, navigation, blah 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 blah. Doesn't look like it. But as you can see, there's a lot of functionality in this, a lot of different views. If you're into stars and the galaxy and the solar system, well worth the price. Yeah, very cool, I thought.
That is cool. It says Linton on it, so I'm assuming that's the Linton Observatory.
No, that's where I live.
Oh, all right. You live in the Linton Observatory?
So is everybody in Canada as dumb as you?
I hope not.
Well, they just voted for bloody Trudeau again, didn't they?
But isn't that a live view of the?
Yeah. Well, no,
it's not from your house.
No, it's not from my house. No, this is just a graphic that they've put in to make it look a bit real. It's not.
Oh, really? Oh, I thought it was it was a view from an actual observatory, though.
No.
Oh, they tricked me.
Yeah, but there are quite a few people who like this sort of app, and it was actually quite cheap. I got it on sale. There was a special on, so I got it for like $2. So you keep an eye out for these sort of apps on when they come up, because normally they're quite expensive. When something like this comes up, it's well worth it at a discount.
Yes, I show $9.99 Canadian.
Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks ago. I got it for like $2. So it'll probably come back up again on sale sometime.
Nice one.
Door.
Yep.
Would you like me to read an email?
Sure. Yeah. I like email.
Just a moment. This one is from Charles. Not sure. I haven't seen Charles in the chat room, but he says, Dear AAA, just letting you know that NoPhoneSpam is the shiznit in my Snoop Dogg voice. I'm not sure who Snoop Dogg is, but I'm sure he is a very nice person. It is simple and effective. It reminds me of an app I paid for a long time ago for rooted phones. Since I don't root anymore, I've been using Callback List Pro. It does the job for SMS and calls, but they will still go to voicemail. The app blocks the call and you get a busy signal. This is great now that those annoying spam calls can't even screw with your voicemail. It even blocks Wi-Fi too. Working on Note 9 and Android 8.1. Thanks again, Charles. Thank you, Charles. But I would encourage people, if you're sending an email into us and you're recommending an app, put a link into the email to take us to the app directly, because I tried searching for this app in the Play Store. I just couldn't find it.
Yeah, I don't think it is in the Play Store. I believe it might be F-Droid.
Oh, it could be, yeah.
Yes, it is in F-Droid.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go.
So even in F-Droid, it says that if you have Android 6 Plus, you don't need this app because call blocking should be supported natively, which is interesting as well.
It's obviously not. Well, it's an option that's turned off. You have to turn it on.
Well, I know with the Pixel, it was certainly on, because I would get the big red, we think this is spam.
But it's the shiznit, apparently, so whatever that means.
Obviously not a hip-hop guy, huh?
Oh, what? I don't think we have that here in our country yet.
Well, if it has to do with hopping, it's probably more Australia.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the kangaroos do.
I'll bring one more here. Maybe. This is called Gibbets Bowmaster. And it's just a fun little archery game. I don't know what it is about these, like just the physics of some of these games where I don't even know what it's called. Dor, you're good at this kind of thing, where you just have like floppy crash test dummy people.
Oh, physics. Something, real world physics or something. Yeah, physics engine games or something like that.
Right. So
Ragdoll physics.
There you go.
That's it.
Nice.
Yeah, ragdoll physics.
So it's also can be quite humorous. And basically you just have to quite morose as well. There are individuals hanging and you have to shoot the rope with the arrow in order to pass the level. But if you hit the person, then that takes away their life even faster. It's kind of a countdown timer, so you lose more time when you stick somebody with an arrow. So then there's little challenges and things like that.
This is really quite worrying, Josh.
You're saving people.
You don't own any guns, do you?
I plead the fifth.
They have red flag laws in Canada.
It's got 10 million plus installs. How bad can it be?
Mm-hmm.
You guys just don't have any good taste in games.
No, it looks great. Actually, it's something my kid would love. My son would love it.
And then you can you get stars and things like that to upgrade your bow or the lifespan of the people you're trying to save. You guys just hate physics.
Wasn't my strongest subject at school.
Well, maybe you could learn this.
I'll try it. Play with my son.
Why is it every time I bring an app, I feel like I kill the conversation?
Maybe you need to ask yourself that question. It's not us. Dora, have you got an app?
Help me out here, man.
Okay. Last app I'll bring is $5 game. I do believe I got it on sale for, I want to say it was $1. So if this is the kind of game that you like, I would definitely encourage you to add it to your wish list. It's called Rome Total War Alexander by Feral Interactive Strategy. T for teen, 167 reviews, 4.2 average reviews. Eligible for the family library, updated October 24th, 2019, 38 megs in size, 1,000 plus installs, current version 1.13 RC. Teen content rating, teen blood violence, accesses phone, media files, storage. Feral Interactive is the main developer behind, I believe, I want to say Civilization, but I don't think that's right. But they're a PC game maker who decided to basically port this game back down to mobile devices. And if, you know, resource management is kind of your thing, think of this as like Risk, the old board game Risk, but from like third person perspective throughout history kind of thing, with like gigantic 100,000 people armies meeting on the field where you're like the generals controlling the flow of the battle. I just thought that this was kind of cool.
Yeah, this is a very cool game that's been around on PC for quite a while. Yeah, I remember playing it when it was on PC, and I had a great time with it.
Oh, so you
Civilization.
You like his games?
That's because they're good. They're not sickos don't play them.
It definitely doesn't look like a ragdoll physics game.
No. And yeah, you get the historical aspect of it as well, and it's really cool. And you get the feeling of you're actually you play the strategy at a higher level, but you can actually go down into the armies and fight first person in the game itself. That's the PC game anyway. So that was always really cool. You could actually fight in the army. You get a taste of what it'd be like to be in an actual battle. I'll put a link in the notes in the chat for Civ Revolutions, which is the mobile equivalent of Civilization. It's a very similar game, in case anybody's interested in that as well. Similar price too, but I got it on special as well last week.
Very cool.
Do you have any more apps, Ivor?
Yeah, I've got one more. Hang on. This is called Photo Widget. No, sorry, I just put the link in the display. So very simple app. What this does is once it's installed, it lets you take a photo from either your device itself or from Google Photos or Dropbox or something, and it lets you make a widget out of it. to put on your phone. So if you want a picture of your kids or your dog or anything like that on your desktop, on your phone itself, this will just let you do it as you would set up a normal widget. It's really simple and effective, and I like it a lot.
Wow, what a dumb app.
Of course, you would say that.
Yeah, and they do ask if you can. They have a paid version, $1.99. It does look like every feature is available in the free version.
Yeah. I just found it quite a nice, simple little app, because I was thinking, oh, what if there's any way I can put a picture that I want, that I've taken on my phone? And yeah, this is it.
Very cool. I wanted to bring at least one news article to this show, and I will say there's been more than a couple things happening, like Samsung giving up on chip manufacturing, Google looking at opening up hardware divisions for creating secure chip design on them. We've had Samsung hint at more kinds of folding devices, but the one that I really wanted to talk about, because it really did catch my attention, was the Motorola RAZR was like officially announced here in like the last day, and I gotta say, this might be among the sexiest phones I've thought of, envisioned, dreamt of, if you will, since maybe the original Motorola RAZR phone, because I like feeling like Captain Kirk.
Yeah, I saw. I posted in the Reddit group Mr. Mobile's review on it, and I commented in that and said, as soon as I saw him open it up, that was it. I was sold. I want one. $1,500 though, American.
Well, that's the thing. $1,500. The internal hardware inside it is literally only worth around $400 at the most. But it's a foldable phone that looks like somebody who actually knew how to do a foldable phone, where there is no crease at all whatsoever anywhere on this device that anyone can even identify. It folds inwards, which means you don't have to have another layer on your screen for protection. Has a built-in fingerprint reader on the bottom. The processor is lacking, is what I want to say.
Yeah, it's about a year old, I think.
Oh, it's like 3 years old now.
Really?
Yeah, it's very old. But I will say, just hearing the guy open and close the phone makes me believe that you can basically like slam the phone open and shut kind of thing, and you're not going to have to worry about damaging the device. Where with the Samsung one, they literally put out like press things that said, please be careful with it, please be gentle with it, kind of thing. I honestly believe Motorola did this right. Now here's like the rant, here's like the expose about the device. $1,500. Non-spectacular internal hardware. I honestly believe that they're literally intentionally overpricing this thing, so they intentionally don't sell a lot of devices. And here's my logic behind it. They don't sell a lot of devices. They only sell a couple devices, but those couple devices are going to be definitely passionate people about it, who are going to put it through its ringer, who also, it wouldn't shock me if they're getting good feedback from them on what's going right, what's going wrong. But this is going to be like a elitist type device, dare I say. When you're out in the public and you look and you'll be able to see from 40, 50 feet away somebody take their phone and close it, and you're going to say to yourself, that's a Motorola RAZR. No other phone that's out right now that you can look across from 80 feet away and say, oh, that's that kind of phone. You know, you don't. This phone has that. I personally believe that they're purposely doing this so in like 5 years, they'll be able to sell a very similar form faction of device for around 400, 500, 600, $100 to where then, and then everybody can have them when the hype's died down and things. But also, there's a hidden feature in the phone where if you go into the settings and you enable it right, it makes the phone look basically exactly like the old school RAZR phone. If you like jump to 3 minutes and 55 seconds in the video, you'll see it literally looks exactly like the old school RAZR phone. And I gotta say, that's genius. That will just tickle the nostalgia bone until you puke.
Yeah, this is what I love about Motorola. It takes something that a larger mobile phone company has spent lots of money and time developing, and it shows them how to do it properly. They did this with LG when they were doing modular phone attachments. You know, LG had this complicated bloody system. You pull the bottom of the phone out, it looked like you're pulling the guts out of a fish or something, and it very fiddly and not very well constructed. And then Motorola comes out with these pogo pin things. You just stick them on the back and away you go. So it's a shame that modular phones died a pretty ignominious death, but you know, Motorola shows you how to do it, and they've always been innovative. You know, they've got the you know, chop to turn on the gestures to turn on your torch, or you know, the different things, the hand motions to do stuff with your phone, which no one else has. This is where Motorola shines. They're really good with this sort of stuff.
Well, and I'll say when the device is closed, it's half height. There is a small screen on that as well, which is a touch screen, which is interactive to where hypothetically, if you're playing a podcast or listening to audio, you don't have to open the phone up all the way and you can control the audio player. There's little niceties is what I'll say about this phone that I think really gives it a really good chance to be successful. And if I had to put money down, if I had to wager, I would say this will be a very successful device, but I don't think it's going to be as successful as everyone thinks it can be. It's going to literally take almost 2.5 to 3 years for them to really, if they're able to pull it off, make this ecosystem of folding phones actually something that the majority of people want and desire, kind of thing.
Yeah. They need to add more cameras. I think if you watch the second version, it should have some more cameras. It'll have an ultra wide or a macro or something like that. And it'll be 5G. It'll work on 5G, which is surprising because I think this phone in the States is only available through Verizon. And Verizon is probably the only one that has a decent 5G network at the moment. So you can't use it on 5G.
Yeah.
5G where you are? Yep.
No, 5G is nowhere unless you live in China. And it's going to be nowhere for the next 2.5, 3 years. No country is going to have even 30% of their network be up to 5G speeds in the next 2 years. So for a phone to have it, it's like a plus, but it's not actually a plus. It's like saying I have a meteor shield above my house. What good is it?
Or the Stadia app.
I think though that given it's Verizon partnered, you know, you go through Verizon to get this phone, they would kind of just put a chip in there which would recognize 5G. I don't know
why it's only in about 8% of the total area, and and you have to be basically standing still to use it. If you're even traveling 3 miles an hour, 5G right now won't work.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking more from the point of view of having a marketing gimmick more than anything else. You'd think
the folding phone ain't a big enough gimmick?
Well, yeah, true. Just another aspect to it that would help sell it.
Well, and the cameras were unbelievably mediocre is the best I can say, which honestly I was kind of shocked because I figured that would be the kind of thing that they could easily put in and have it just bump up in quality, but apparently that was too much to ask.
Especially with that price, you'd expect a decent camera.
I would expect personal concierge service for that price. Yeah. So did you guys have any more links or apps that you wanted to bring?
I'm good. I think that's about enough.
Yeah, I think we're. You know,
We have some more emails, I think, don't we?
We always have more emails, it seems like now.
Yeah, it's great. Keep sending them in.
It is great, and thank you everyone that sent one in. We are kind of cruising into an hour and a half now, so if you guys don't mind, I'll just do a rundown of the apps we brought tonight, which is Stadia by Google LLC, Your Calendar Widget by Manuel Shinave, Business Calendar 2 by Appgenic Software, Video Compressor Fast Compress Video and Photo by Mobile Idea Studio, everyone's favorite Tint Meter, Check Car Window Tinting VLT, Next Apps Gen, Cartoon Craft by Studio NAP, Night Clock by Ned Fox, Text Scanner OCR by Peace, BLOKADA by BLOKADA, Mobile Observatory 3 Pro, Astronomy by Wolfgang Zima, Gibbets, Bowmaster by HeroCraft Limited, Rome Total War Alexander by Feral Interactive, and Photo Widget by Lei Jia Jing. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 apps. Mark would be proud.
Oh, and speaking of Mark, Abby Cockrell's fundraiser, that's now up to $2,350. So she's got a long way to go. She wants to get to 10,000. So if any of you can haven't donated yet, please just throw some money her way. It's a really worthwhile cause.
Yeah, the link will be at the top of the notes if you want to contribute to that, and I will definitely ask everyone if you can pause your any contributions you're doing to me or anybody on Podnutz and divert them over there for at least a short time. I want to thank everyone again for the emails. There are emails we didn't get to. I will thank Christian, Red Dwarf, Kevin, Charles, and Chuck Green again for the emails. Thank you very much. And do not forget, if you want to send us an email, aaa@podnuts.com. If you want to send us a voicemail, you can send it to us at 7076-PODNUT. And if you want to, you can check us out on YouTube. We stream live every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern New York time. If you want to catch when we do those live, you can either just subscribe to us on twitter.com/podnuts. We have a Discord server that we are on as well. I try to post it in there. If you want access to that, don't hesitate, shoot me an email. And I wanted to definitely thank Ivor and Josh for coming out. Do you have any parting words there, Ivor?
Yeah, I just wanted to apologize to our viewers and listeners for not being able to have a show for the last couple of weeks. We almost got there last week, but we had some technical issues. I managed to sort out my difficulties at least anyway, so I should be here for the next ones, and hopefully Josh's internet issues have been sorted out too. So we should be good to go the next few weeks.
Very cool. Do you have any parting words there, Josh?
I do. Yeah. Thanks everybody for listening, and definitely for the emails. Keep them coming. Both Ivor and I are new to this still, so any feedback is muchly appreciated, and we're both dealing with new sound hardware, so it's trying to tune that in and figure out what we're doing. And just want to ask everyone where they can go and what other podcasts they can listen to where one of the hosts says, Anigniminous with a New Zealand accent.
Ignominious.
That's the one.
I have no idea. But I definitely want to thank everyone for downloading. Thanks for everyone for subscribing. I want to thank everyone for hanging out live. And I do want to give a shout out to dual screens in the chat. If you're interested in Nintendo podcast, heavily focusing on like indie scene with a lot of interviews, you can check out NDS Podcast, Nintendo Dual Screen Podcast, NDS Podcast on Twitter. Weekly show, I will say. Really good interviews. There's plenty of triple A games out there, but the indies out there, I think, are actually more interesting. It's one of the podcasts that I definitely subscribe to and support. So thank you for coming out to the show, Dual Screens. We will try to do a show again next week after is Thanksgiving. So obviously I'll say I cannot make it for a show that week. But hopefully we will talk to everyone again in about a week. So take it easy, everybody.
See ya. We stop our audacities now.
Unless you want to do an intro.
I'll leave that to Josh.
Okay. I already stopped mine, but I'll do it. I'll do another one. Let me just save. Let me save this real quick.
554. Right. 554.
Anigniminous. What is the say it again? I was actually like Googling it. I can't even come up with any letters that come close to being what it's supposed to be.
Ignominious.
Ignominious.
I'll try and say it like an American. Ignominious. That was ignominious.
Man, so funny.
You had to mention the World Cup, didn't you?
You could tell he was waiting to pull that out too. He was sitting on that one.
I totally forgot about it until
how well did Canada do in the World Cup? How well did America do in the World Cup? Oh, I think they got chucked out after the second game.
Oh, somebody's getting offensive, Door. Is that
At
why
least we have a World Cup?
Don't get too close to an animal when he's in a corner. That's when you're liable to get hurt.
At least we have a World Cup, a cup where different countries actually play, not just different teams from around the same country, and you call that the World Cup.
It's actually the World Series.
Oh, World Series or whatever it is. I mean, why do they call it the World Series? They should call it the American Series or something. At least the Cricket World Cup is a very similar game to baseball. You get different countries who play it. Oh, maybe it's because no one else apart from Japan plays baseball.
That's not true. Korea plays baseball, Cuba, South America.
Like I said, no one else plays baseball. North Korea.
Is that why you started growing a beard? You just gave up?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I just gave up.
Let me see. Make sure that got through.
No, I was quite pleased that even though we lost the World Cup, we had we beat the Poms, we beat the English, and we lost to the South Africans in the final. So we don't mind the South Africans winning. We just don't want the English to win.
Sounds fair. How do you spell that word again?
IG.
Hold on.
N-O. M-I-N.
I-O-S. I-O-U-S.
Yeah, something like that.
That's ridiculous. Oh, man.
And I had another Windows update because on my desktop I've got a dual boot with Linux and Windows, and same story again. Windows updated and I completely balked my Linux install. So I'm just going to have to go full Linux, I think.
Yeah, good plan. Yeah, do that and then just run your Windows in a VM if you need to.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Well, is this a desktop, Ivor?
Yeah.
Yeah. The only time I've ever seen a successful dual boot is literally if you have 2 hard drives and you, during the boot sequence, you hit like F9 and you say boot to this hard drive or boot to that hard drive, and literally like install on the Windows, like connect only the Windows drive, install to just the Windows drive, disconnect the Windows drive, connect the Linux drive, install to the Linux drive, then plug them both back up, and then during boot you just hit the key and you pick which one that you're going to boot into. That's
Okay.
the only way, because
Yeah, that's
every
actually a good idea.
well, because Windows will always bork the master boot record. That's just what they do, because they don't, they don't want anything else to exist. And
Or you just take the training wheels off.
And I think with this latest update as well, it's also uninstalled a lot of programs I had on the Windows side. So it's got rid of my browser. I had Opera browser installed. It's got rid of my AnyDesk software for screen sharing. I had to reinstall all of that. Really annoying. So yeah, I think I'm going to have to go just full Linux Mint.
I'm going to try to record something here.
Okay.
On episode 554, that's just dumb. On episode 554 of Android App Addicts, Door feels like Captain Kirk. Ivor is ignominious. That's not even a word. Ignominious. God damn it.
Yeah, let me look it up.
it means causing or bringing shame.
Deserving or causing public disgrace or shame. No, I'm looking at the word. I just can't say it. All right. I'm going to try this again. Ignominious.
Perhaps it was the wrong word to use.
Oh, it was fantastic, though. I wanted to. What the hell? On this week's edition of Android App Addicts, Door feels like Captain Kirk, Ivor is ignominious, and Josh brings more terrible apps.
Very good. For all your faults, you are the master of the intro.
Yeah, right.
All right, guys, I got to hop off here, and I got to get ready for bed. I'm going to try to produce this tomorrow.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, have a good week. I'll see you next week.
All right, man, take it easy.
All right. Cheers.
Yeah, you too, man.